What's up, guys? Jason Guyman here, and tonight we're going to talk about some ways to get jobs, right? Because honestly, this is something that whether we talk about it for pressure washing Christmas lights, whatever business that you may be in, we are going to talk about how to get more jobs so that you can be successful, right? Because let's be honest, right now, I know a lot of people are the doom and gloom, and I don't want to be the doom and gloom. I want you to be successful. And so tonight we're going to talk about different ways to get this. Now, for pressure washing, I'm going to say something. I know some people in the groups have been like, Jason, why haven't our phones started ringing? Why is we not busy? And I will tell you why you are not busy in pressure washing yet. Now, Christmas lights is a different story. Obviously, we can still go after our commercial right now. We can go after trying to get that. But in the end, for pressure washing this year, I always tell people you're not going to get busy until you start seeing people mow grass. And right now, nobody is mowing grass around here. It's getting time for it, but now we've gotten rain, and we got more rain coming this week. And that's always a poopy situation of what happens when the rain starts coming. So one of the things that, as I've seen people, complaining or whatnot, wanting to do more business-wise to be able to see why, Jason, why isn't the phone started ringing yet? And like I said, the biggest reason why is because if it is raining and you're not outside mowing grass, you are not going to get what you want, right? And so as I have done this for many, many years, I have started pressure washing in March, like the end of February, 1st of March. And I've been to almost May before, because what happens is it rains and the grass isn't growing. And so these are things that we have to think about when we are trying to grow a business. And again, sometimes I know it sucks, and sometimes I know that but at the end of the day, there's not much we can do about it, right? I know that, as we are trying for us to get more work, it's just one of those things that the pressure washing just doesn't get started yet. And so as of right now, I've probably only seen maybe 3 or 4 people out cutting grass right now. We cut grass in Texas all year long, and that is true. And the people that I have been hearing complain about it is more so around my area of where the weather is crappy, where I'm talking about. And so that's kind of where we are right now, right? And so we're getting flooded out right now as we speak. There's a lot of flooding going on. So these are some things that we are dealing with. The Ohio River is normally at 26 feet. Flood stage is at 52 feet. And right now it's going to be at 60 feet. Now, some people are like, Jason, does that bother you? Well, no, because we live way up on the hill, and that doesn't bother us. But it does bother a lot of other people. And so that is what we are. So with that, we are going to hit on 3 different easy marketing tactics that work and that you are going to be able to use and to be able to grow your business. Because my goal is to help you grow your business. Now, I don't know how long I'm going to go today because I'm tired. I'm going to be honest. DJ and I was out today. We went and he got a big $15,000 roof clean for a commercial job. And so we've been out all day since about 9 o'clock this morning of pressure wash or soft washing and pressure washing this thing, and climbing up and down the ladder and climbing up and down the roof is a job when you're not used to doing that a lot. And so it was a good day. We didn't get it all done today. I don't have much pictures on it right now. I will have a bunch of pictures and videos. I've got my drone shots of it. It's a pretty large commercial job. It's actually the job we got is 2 years ago he did the building wash, which was 10 grand, and now I'm still freezing. I know it. I had to take a shower to warm up because I was freezing cold. And it is cold, right? We were out there spraying water all day, and the temperature was dropping as we were speaking. It started out at 46 this morning, and by the time we were done, it was like in the 30s. And so it is definitely getting colder as we speak. And so we were both soaked, but it was a good time, and we got it. We got most of it. We got about halfway done. We got the hardest part done. And so he'll probably have another 8 to 10 hour day to get it all done and do it. And so we sprayed about 170 gallons of bleach, 170, 180 gallons of bleach. And so we had 2 trucks running. We had the fire hydrant going, so we could keep the 10-gallon-a-minute machine going and the 2 soft wash guns at 11 gallons a minute. So that's what we were doing today to get that job done. Now, we didn't get it all the way done, but again, we got it probably close to 50% done, because the other half is not as dirty as the first half. So we got the worst part done. It was a good day, other than it was raining all day. And yeah, so it kind of was one of those days that, again, it's not perfect pressure washing weather. And that's what I'll talk about, right? Let's talk about that. I'll wait off on that, because I'm going to use that for what I've got coming up here for marketing, right? So the very first thing is, I would say, for growing your business, before we get there, let's see who we got into the chat. Again, one of the books that I would want you to read this week is They Ask You Answer. And if you haven't read this book, Marcus Sheridan is there. Now, what I will say is his new book is coming out in about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. His new book is coming out. And if you wait till that book, that is fine. It's supposed to be, the new book is basically They Ask You Answer 3.0. It is a different name. I don't remember what the name of it is, but I will get that book once it comes out, and I will tell you that I think that if you follow the strategies in that book, you will guarantee you to be successful. I will almost 99% say you would be successful. And so he talks about the 4 pillars of growing a business and marketing and stuff. And so I would, like I said, it is one of the books that I've recommended for years. They Ask You Answer. It is one of my favorite books that I think that gives lots of value. And I think that as we move into 2025 and 2026, it's what's going to separate you from everybody else. And so, and I know that some people don't like doing video, but I do believe video is going to be huge, because there is going to be so much AI stuff that you're not going to know if it's the real person or not. And so if you see the real person, I think that's going to go a long ways. And so, and that's just my personal opinion, going along with what Marcus had said at Social Media Marketing World last week. And so it is definitely something that we need to look at and see, what can we do to separate us to be able to do it? Because here's the thing. There's a lot of services right now that's going to be answering phones. And I seen Jobbers just came out. I know other people's are coming out. And they're not that expensive. Like, getting your phone answered is less than $100 to $200 now to have someone answer your phone within 2 rings, right? And so that's not going to be a separator from a lot of people now. Now, what still will be a separator is, even though you get the phone ring, you still got to get the quotes out, right? And a lot of people aren't going to get the quote out. They're going to get answered, and then it's going to go to nowhere because they're not going to get the quote out. Now, you can automate some of that too, but I will tell you that if you're automating it 100%, obviously you're probably, again, it's to answer the phone. I always tell you, answering the phone is the number one thing that separates you from all your competitors, because 9 times out of 10, you will hear someone call and say, "Man, you're the first person out of 10 phone calls that I've gotten." And so that's going to be a separator that is kind of going to close the gap a little bit. With AI, again, the voice prompts are pretty daggone close to where you want to be at. It's not that far off. And so it is definitely something that as we keep moving forward, it is something that you are going to, I mean, if you can't afford somebody, if you can't afford $100 or $200 to answer your phone, and the likelihood of you answering the phone is probably not very likely. Because here's the thing, you could even set this thing to where it answers at the fourth ring, right? So then you pick up, you have a chance to pick up, and 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to pick it up. And then obviously then the AI can take it and answer that phone. So there's a lot of things that are coming out. I seen Meta just came out with a new Llama, a new model. And so there's a lot of things that are moving in the AI world. If you're not into AI, well, I would suggest that you probably should be. So Big Time is in the house. How you doing, sir? We cut grass all year long. No tariff saves money. Slow start to the season. It's been a slow start for a lot of people because it's been so much rain and so much crap. Lots of rain means more algae to clean. That's the silver lining. Yep, for sure. I'm still freezing. Send the flood waters toward Ohio State. Go blue. DJ would like that one right there. Awesome. Can you wash in the rain? You can wash in the rain. We were washing in the rain as long as it's not like pouring down. So if you're doing house washing, you definitely can, especially with the over it. But it is definitely something that, it takes a little bit more to do. I like washing in the rain because then you don't have to worry about it drying. You don't have to worry about oxidizing anything. You don't have to worry about killing as much. So I personally like washing in the rain because then you don't have to, a lot of factors that you don't have to worry about. Unlimited customers coming out in May. White House can't let it affect your mindset push through. Well, here's my thing about that is you can't change it, so it doesn't matter what they do. Only thing you can change is November. You can have a mindset of whatever you want to have, and the only thing it's going to hurt is you. So there's no use having a negative mindset about it because there isn't nothing you can change other than when you voted. And so that's the only thing that you can change. There's nothing else that you can change. And it's only going to get better. Great book. After reading it, we made 70 videos of the most asked questions with answers. Then we put many on our frequently asked of our website. Yep. A1 Pressure Washing in the house. How you doing? All right. So let's talk about the 3 tactics that I think, one of the things, whether we're talking about pressure washing or Christmas light business, I always, one of the things is how do I get more jobs? How do I get more business? And, you can do some of the other stuff. You can do Facebook ads. You can do Google ads. You can do Facebook. You can do Craigslist. You can do a lot of different things. But what I will tell you is the one thing that I know that will get business is yard signs. And I love yard signs. And I know you guys know that I love yard signs. But honestly, yard signs are still king, in my opinion, even in 2025. Now, I get it. There is some people who can't put out yard signs, right? Your city's going to fine you. You've gotten fines. Now, there is some cities that are going to give you a fine, but you're too afraid to put them out to see if they really are or not. Right? Because yard signs are probably illegal in all 50 states in some way or another. And so it's one of those things that, how should I put this, right? It's one of the things that you can push it to see if you get fined or not. And I know people that have gotten fined. I know people that say they're going to get fined and never did get fined. And so it is one of the things that I know that will get business. I have a Christmas light guy out of Colorado. He put out 25 yard signs and he made $125,000 off those 25 yard signs. I know people that put out thousands of yard signs. I know people that make $1 to $2 million a year and they still put out thousands of yard signs. Why? Because they work. And that's the key to what I'm wanting to hit on is they work, right? I know people will be like, Jason, I'm trying all this other stuff. And I'm like, why aren't you doing yard signs? Well, I did that in the beginning and I quit because, well, blah, 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 right? Well, this is what I will tell you. And I had one guy in my mentorship here recently. He's like, I'm going to start Google Ads, right? And I'm like, are you going to keep doing yard signs? Well, I haven't put none out in about 2 months. I'm like, why have you not put anything out? You know that yard signs work. Google Ads work too, but you don't know if they work or not just starting out, right? I know by a shout of a doubt that yard signs gotten you to $500,000, right? It's gotten this guy to $500,000 is through yard signs, between yard signs and networking and that kind of stuff. Gotten him to $500,000. I'm like, why would we stop doing yard signs when we know that it's a guaranteed thing that will get you business, right? And so that's the important part that we got to look at. What do we know that is going to get us business? What do we know for a shout of a doubt? And I have a guy that last year he put out so many yard signs and he figured it out. He put out every yard sign he put out was $75. So think about that. Don't think about it. Is somebody going to see me? I see people out there that are like, are they going to see me? Don't worry about it. Think about it this way. Think of it as $75 to put that yard sign out there. And so this is the importance of why we put these yard signs. And some people are always like, Jason, well, what do they need to be, right? Well, they need to be simple. For Christmas sites, Christmas site installer, big phone number. That's it. For pressure washing, big phone number. That's it. I don't need anything else. Everybody wants to put their logo that you can't see. They want to put all this other crap on this sign, the 50 different, I do pressure washing, concrete, house washing, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, everything is this small coming across here, and you can't read none of it, right? And so this is why we want to keep it simple. Keep it simple. Kiss it. And we need to do this in a lot of our marketing. A lot of times we want to overcomplicate. We want to put 57 things on them. If we're doing Christmas lights, we put Christmas lights. If we're doing pressure washing, we don't put house washing because house washing is an industry term, right? Pressure washing. Most people that are going to look you up are looking for pressure washing. Most people that are going to call you are going to type in pressure washing. They're not going to type in house washing. It's very few people are going to type in house washing. Most people are going to type in pressure washing. If they want their driveway clean, they're going to type in pressure washing, right? Because they know that if that's what it is. And so it's important that we make sure that we are using the terms that they are going to get, right? And so this is something that we have to think about when we're putting out yard signs. And here's the thing. Some people always ask, how many yard signs am I going to put out? Well, how consistent are you going to be, right? Because if you're not consistent with putting out yard signs every week after week after week, and yes, they're going to be pulled. The reason why I tell you to put them out on Friday and Saturday is because you're lucky to make it till Monday, right? If they make it to Monday, that's great. That's great. Who cares, right? Some people are like, they just pull them up the next day. Well, they got 24 hours out. So if they're out on a Saturday, they're probably going to stay till Monday. That's why I tell people to put them out on Friday or Saturday, right? Because put them out Friday afternoon or Saturday morning. So that way they're out over the weekend. Because here's the thing. Most people are going to call you on Friday or Monday, right? They're going to be like, oh, I need to do this, and this is what it is. What's David put on here? Yard signs get put up every day. They are so cheap at under $4 a sign. We put up hundreds per month. I put them out. Sales guys put them out, and Clash crews put them out. Yard signs are like ATMs, and I agree 100%. And this is the thing, right? People just don't think that, the yard sign is really going to do that well for me. Yes, they're going to really do that well for you. And you know what? I know people will be like, man, the last year I had a guy and he's like, man, yard signs don't work, Jason. I'm like, oh yeah. I was like, how many have you put out? And this was like This was May. This was in May. And he's like, oh, I put out 100. I'm like, this month? Oh, no, since the beginning. I'm like, you haven't even got started. 100 in 3 months? No wonder your phone is not ringing. They're not going to work when you only put out 100 in 3 months, right? Put out 100 a month at least, 25 per week. If not, bump it up to 50 so you put out 200 a month. And then, when do you start putting out yard signs for pressure washing? You put them out in March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, right? So what do we have? 8 months. So we got, you can get them for 8 months, times that by 300 or by 200 yard signs, 1,600 yard signs. I would do that all day, right? Why wouldn't you put that many yard signs out? For Christmas lights, I'm going to put 100 out in August. I'm going to put 100 out in September. I'm going to put 200 out in October, or maybe 300 out in October. In November, I'm going to put out 400 in November. So I just put out 1,000 yard signs in a very short time amount. And you might say, well, Jason, that's a lot of money. You can literally get yard signs for about $3 to $4 a piece. 3 to 4, and that's with the stake and everything. So for 1,000 yard signs, you're going to pay $4,000, but that's going to make you $100,000. If you're not willing to do that, I don't know what to tell you, because I would almost bet you that you could make $100,000 off of yard signs alone. So if you want to make $100,000, go get yard signs. Now, is there other things that we can do? Sure there is, but there's not really anything as good as yard signs that I could guarantee you that's going to get your phone to ring. I will guarantee him that you're going to get your phone to ring. And so that's what I'm just hitting on, and that's why I love yard signs so much. Power washing is good as far as keyword. It depends on where you are. Most people, I would say pressure washing does better than power washing. And the only reason why I know this is I've ran ads for a lot of people. And when I run Google ads, most people type in pressure washing, not power washing, not house washing, not roof cleaning, not any of those keywords. They're typing in power washing. We did 1,200 yard signs from October 1st to November 15th. If yard signs work this well, what about billboards? No, they don't. Billboards don't work as good. I don't know why. Bus stop buses. I've done billboards. I know people that have done billboards, and most people that do billboards don't have a good return on them. And billboards are expensive. They're very expensive. You'll pay $1,000 a month. I have house washing, roof washing phone number on my yard sign. Should I change? Yes. Honestly, do a test. Put out 100 yard. The best way to do it is put out a test and put, if you can get you another phone number, and put phone number on that one, on the ones you have, and then get a different phone number so you can see what the difference is. And how do I know the difference between one versus the other? Because I tested. I tested it all across the country. I actually gave a bunch of phone numbers out to people, and they had to buy 200 yard. They had to buy 400 yard signs with one number and one with the other number, and it was 4 to 1. 4 to 1. That's why 4 to 1. Where do you put 4,000 yard signs? All over the place. You put them at every stoplight. You put them everywhere. What about window cleaning, gutter cleaning for yard signs? Gutter cleaning is another good one, especially right now because the rain is coming, right? It's around here, you better have an ark here because it's raining like crazy. But gutter cleaning works great too. Gutter cleaning works really awesome also. All right, so the next thing that we need to do is, this one is not as easy as it used to be. This one is getting a little bit harder. And this is something that we're going to work on over time. It's not going to be something that's going to get you leads right away, but it is something that you need to do. And there are several things to this one. And this one, in the past, you used to be able to just go to Google Business Profile and fill out the paperwork, and they sent you a postcard, and you did it, and you were live. Now that doesn't work as well. So Google Business Profile. One of the things that we need, there's a couple things we need for Google Business Profile. One, we need a website. And if you don't have a website, the likelihood of you getting your Google business profile through is not very likely. You need to have citations on places like YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook pages. And so you need all of that for that also. And so Google makes it not as easy, but it is something that is still relevant. Now, is this going to be relevant in 2, 3, 5 years? I don't know with AI, because here's the other thing I will tell you. With AI, you almost need to use your Yelp. And I know you all hate Yelp just as probably as much as I hate Yelp. But a lot of the AIs pull off of Yelp because ChatGPT is owned by Microsoft, and Yelp is owned by Microsoft. And guess what? Yelp is coming more relevant if you look it up. And if you haven't, go to ChatGPT and say, I need a pressure washing business in whatever city, and see who it pulls up. And you will find out most likely it's going to be somebody with a lot of Yelp reviews. And how I found this out is I use Perplexity. Perplexity is another one that's a great search tool AI. And a lot of that is pulling off of your off of Yelp instead of Google Business, because that's not owned by that. And another thing that you can use is LinkedIn articles, and LinkedIn is another one that's owned by the same with these AIs. And so it's pulling a lot of data out of that. And so these are things that we can use by using Google Business Profile. Now, once you get your Google Business Profile up and running, then it's time to optimize it. You need to make sure you put all your pictures on it. You need to make sure that you do everything that you need for that. You need to get your reviews, right? Because reviews are huge. And if you want to give me a review, you can scan the QR code, take a picture of it, hold it, and you can give me a review if I've helped you grow your business, if I've helped you in any way. I appreciate it. I love reviews. I read them all. I respond to all my reviews, and so should you. You should be responding to all your reviews. You should be responding to your reviews, and reviews are a great thing that will set you apart from everyone else, right? And so reviews is something huge. Now, again, Google Business Profile is not something that's going to take off right now and start getting you a bunch of leads right out of the get-go. It takes time. Get more reviews. If you have competitors with 20 reviews, you need to get 30 reviews. How do you get reviews? You ask. You ask on the phone call. You ask when you get there. You ask when you're done. And you have this ready to go, right? This is how we get reviews. We don't sit there and be like, well, Jason, they just didn't give me a review. Well, did you ask for it? No. Why, or you only ask one time, the likelihood of them giving it to you at that point is very rare. And so this is something that you should do and to make that happen. So with that is Google reviews. And then the last thing is reaching out to your previous customers. Well, Jason, what if I don't have previous customers? Well, then work on a referral program. Start working on referral program. But also networking. I would say networking and previous customers are huge. And here's the thing. If you're in business and you did jobs last year, call those customers this year and see if they need anything cleaned. Go ahead and give them a call right now. It's raining out, and say, hey, as soon as this weather breaks, we can get your house all nice and cleaned up. And so these are things that we can do to be able to get the phone to ring, or you make their phone ring, right? And that's what we have to do. I know sometimes we don't like to do it, but it's something that we have to do. So how do we start implementing this stuff? Well, have you ordered your yard signs yet? Because it's going to take them 5 to 7 days, right? Have you updated your business profile? If you haven't, go in there and update it. You should have a description that's 750 characters long. If it's only 2 or 3 lines or no lines, go in there and update your Google My Business. And so that's something that we can do. Make sure you have 100 pictures. If you don't have 100 pictures in there, you should have 100 pictures. Pictures are huge. You can have videos also. So you can do videos and Google and videos and pictures both. So the both of those are good things to do. And are you posting on your Google My Business? Again, another thing that you have to do. People always come to me and say, Jason, why ain't it easy? If it was easy, everybody would do it. I have been seeing a lot of rigs go up for sale. And this is usually what happens when people and usually I don't see them go up for sale this time of year, but you usually do. Because here's the thing. People get into this business and they think it's easy. It's not easy. I had a good friend. He bought an $18,000 rig. He would not spend a dime on marketing. He was like, I'm not spending no money on marketing. And guess what? He went out of business because you're willing to spend $18,000 on a piece of equipment. Yes, it's nice. Yes, it's shiny. Yes, it's fun. And yes, it's cool. But that's not going to get your phone to ring. I know people that do this all the time. And guess what? There's a lot of people that want to sell you a bunch of equipment. And that's great for them, not for you. You can go buy that awesome equipment, but it's not going to make you money. I promise you. It ain't no different than buying a bunch of Christmas lights. I would love to sell you a bunch of Christmas lights, but that's not going to make you no money, right? You got to go out there. This is why I tell you don't buy Christmas lights until it's time for you to put them up. That's why I don't tell you to go buy a bunch of equipment for pressure washing. If you can get by with a little 4 gallon a minute, get by as long as you can. Because go dump that money into the marketing. Go dump it into yard signs, right? Because instead of spending $18,000 on a rig, what if you spent $18,000 into marketing? Well, you would probably make $100,000 because then you could buy a rig at that point. But you're not going to make $100,000 if you go buy an $18,000 piece of equipment that you can't spend no more money on marketing because you ain't got no more money because that's what you bought your stuff for. And it's no different than Christmas lights. I see it all the time. It's no different than any business. I see it so much. People think that marketing is a racket, and some of it is, don't get me wrong, but here's the deal. Think of it as investing in your business. And that's one of the best things that you can do is to grow your business, is to invest in your own business. And so these are things that you have to think about as we are doing our pressure washing business, our Christmas light business, whatever business that you have, right? And so with that, ask your questions. I want to answer your questions. I see I got a couple here that will... Anything on how to be more efficient putting out signs. Putting out 25 takes me almost an hour and a half. And it does take time because you kind of don't want to put them all in one area. You kind of want to spread them around. And so I would say that, if you have 2 people helps, so that way one person can drive and the other person can jump out and put them out. So that is something that helps you be able to do it a little bit quicker. But I agree with you, Will. It does take time to put them out. Again, I never said this was easy. I never said it was hard. Or never said it was easy. This was time that when I was doing it, me and my wife would drive around. We'd like to ride around, so we'd ride around and I'd put out yard signs. And so that's what we did. That was our Friday date of we would go put out yard signs for the weekend. And I did that many Fridays to make that phone ring because the most important thing you can do is get the phone ring. I see ads for posting up social for 45 months. Are those legit? I mean, here's the thing. It's not hard to put up social media. You got a tool called ChatGPT. You got a tool called Claude. You got Perplexity. You got a lot of different, you got Twitter, which is Grok, X, which is Grok. These are all things that can put out social media posts for you. Very simple, not hard at all to do anymore, for sure. Plan on going to the huge, even I have 5 GPMs and no customers. Hope to leave the knowledge and enthusiasm. You got to get the phone to ring. That's the most important thing you can do. So if you want to get your phone to ring, I teach you how to get your phone to ring. Whether you're just doing pressure washing or Christmas lights, I have a pressure washing or Christmas light class coming up this weekend, next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're going to teach you all kinds of different skills. We're going to teach you how to hang Christmas lights on Friday morning. And then I'm going to teach you some of the marketing stuff that I'm going to go through. And then you're going to learn how to do door knocking, and you're going to learn how to do sales through door knocking and just sales in general. So how to close the higher end paid jobs. And then Sunday, we will talk more about marketing. And then Sunday afternoon, we will be doing permanent lights. And so that's what you can learn. You can go to christmaslights.io/IPT for in-person training, or you can go to christmaslights.io/Cincy25. Will actually take you to the page that you actually need. What do you do about cities that don't like yard signs? Well, as long as they don't call me, I don't care. I just let them pull them. They put them out. They pull them up on me on Monday, and I put them out on Saturday. And I put them back out on Saturday, and they pull them up on Monday. That's what I do. I'm willing to play the long game. If it's going to take a handful of years before I can quit my job, so be it. Actually, you know what? I was reading something. I watched, I don't remember her name, but I was listening to something, and she said that people that work second jobs, trying to start a business while they work their full-time job, you're 33% more likely to stay in business versus the person that goes cold turkey and just quits everything. And I would go both ways on this, but because one of the things that makes people go out of business is cash flow, right? They don't have the cash flow. Everybody forgets that wintertime comes around and they don't have no money. And even if you do Christmas lights and you make $100,000, people spend it before Christmas, and then January comes around, they're like, I ain't got no money. And I'm like, yeah, because you spent it all, right? And so that wintertime's coming, and so it is definitely something that you have to start budgeting. And so, when you have another full-time job there, then it makes life a lot easier. The biggest thing I would say is if you can get out of debt, pay off all your debt while you're getting both incomes coming in, that can put you way ahead of it, because debt is what will kill you faster than anything. Yes, when the time's good, but when August comes around and it slows down, that's when it gets hard. So that's just something that you got to think about. But any other questions you guys got? Again, if you want to come and see some pretty cool people this weekend, next weekend, I think we're about 15, 18 people right now. Obviously, you're going to see myself and Eric Beck. Eric Beck, he did 40 Christmas light jobs. He started doing the door knocking, and he got to 389 jobs last year just from doing door knocking, with an average ticket of around $1,500. So it is definitely something that makes a lot of money. Daniel's going to be there. Daniel, he did $179,000 his first time in business. Last year he did over $500,000 in business. David Hamill's going to be there. He does a couple $1 million in businesses. There's going to be a lot of other people. And honestly, the class is going to be awesome. But let me tell you something. The networking is what's the most important part. A lot of people don't realize it. Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you come to this class and you don't go out to dinner with us, you're missing out. You're literally missing out, because that is when the gold nuggets usually come the most, is when you sit there and eat dinner with someone and they're like, yeah, I do this in my business. And you're like, oh, yeah, how's that work? Oh, it works really great. And you're like, really? I never even would have thought of that. And so that's the cool thing about networking. And so, I know a lot of people that have come, they network, and again, the class, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn your systems, and that's great, but the networking is always what I love about it. All the neighborhoods that I would like to service have no soliciting signs. Looking to bypass them with no drama. Put yard signs out by them. That's how I would do it. I'd put it right at the end of their subdivision. Let them pull the sign out. and then I'm going to put them wherever they go. So when they go to the store, they're going to see my sign. When they go to their school, they're going to see my sign. When they go to church, they're going to see my sign. They're going to see my sign everywhere. I'm going to put them signs everywhere, right? We're going to sing signs everywhere, signs when we're putting them out. Because we want them to see them everywhere. We want them to see them on the way to the school. We want to see them on the way back home from school. We want them to know who we are, right? We're going to put signs out everywhere. Signs. Roll Tide. Good wealth of knowledge here. Thanks, man. Gotta go. Well, thanks for coming on. What about EDDM? EDDM works really good if you have the money to do it. You know, this is one of those things that you can't just put out 5,000 door hangers one time and think that's, or EDDM, and think that's okay. You can't even do it with door hangers, right? You got to hit them 3 to 5 times every 4 to 6 weeks. You got to make sure you got a good offer on there. You got to make sure you got a good discount on there. You got to make sure that there's a lot of things that can go wrong that will make a door or make a EDDM go straight to poop. So you got to make sure that you are got a good card design. You got to make sure that you're sending it on the right day. You want it to go out on a Thursday or Friday. You want to make sure that it goes out. Sometimes and then you got to walk around all these things. It's going to cost you anywhere from, depending on how many you're sending out, it's going to cost you anywhere from 26 to 40 cents per, I'm going to say 40, probably 50, 60 if you do it, the thing, per EDDM. Every door direct mail is what that is, if people are wanting to know what that is. But yes, they can do well. I know people that do really well with it. If you want to know when I go live for pressure washing, you can text the word King to 859-696-1101. I always send a text out whenever I go live. And if you want to know when I go live on pressure washing, or Christmas lights, you can text the word light, L-I-T-E, to 855-619-5483. So, let's see. I'm tired. I've worked hard today. I ain't used to climbing up and down ladders and up and down roofs and all kinds of stuff. It was a big metal roof. I think this thing is 20,000, or it's probably 200. I don't know what it is. It's like 300,000 square feet. Something huge. I don't know if I got any pictures of it up or not. Let's see if I can get some pictures of it. I'll show you some pictures of it if you all want to see some pictures of it. Unless you got more questions. It was a big job. Photos. Let's see. I had lots of videos. Nope, nothing coming up yet. But social media marketing world was a great time last week. I learned lots. You know, that's why I always tell people, right? Don't just go to pressure washing stuff. Go to marketing stuff. Go to sales training. If you suck at sales, go learn how to sell. Because here's the thing. You can have all the marketing in the world, and if you don't know how to close these jobs, you're going to lose a bunch of jobs. And so go learn skills that are going to help you grow your business. That is the key of it, right? That's the whole thing of what I'm telling you. This is my first year with EDDM. Don't expect ROI on calls until your 3rd or 4th round of EDDMs. Yes, that is 100% true. My last job there were flyers from another pressure washing company all over the ground because it was windy day. Just looked bad. This was an upscale neighborhood in Crestwood. We are flying in Thursday evening for training. Looking forward to learn and helping others as well. Sweet. Hello, by the way, Mr. Lance Davis. Let's see if we can get some pictures of this job we did. It's still a bunch of them are photos. I don't have many photos. pictures right now. Here's one picture of how nasty and versus clean we was there. Let's see. So you can see here, this was how nasty and black it was on the right. We sprayed it on the left, and then I was getting ready to spray it over here. You can see and then I sprayed it with 6%, and then that was the other side of it. So, but it doesn't show you really how big this thing was. It's a big roof, big roof. All right. So again, hopefully we get to see you next week. I know we got a lot of people coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, if you want to learn, if you want to grow, if you want to, 120,000 square feet is how big this place was. It's big. I didn't remember how big it was. I forget sometimes. Again, next week, in-person training, christmaslights.io. If you want to learn how to do Christmas lights and you want to make anywhere from about $30,000 to $100,000 next year or this year for Christmas lights, it is definitely something that you want to do. Do you focus on target? Do you focus or target one area at a time with all the marketing techniques? So I mean, I don't really hyper focus. Like for pressure washing, I did more of a general the greater Cincinnati area. I would put signs out different parts of the tri-state depending on where I was and how I was doing. So it wasn't like I was hyper target like it's now. Now for Christmas lights, I did target a little bit more. Like I target the 10 best neighborhoods in greater Cincinnati. I didn't target the west side because there's nobody over on the west side. Is there some jobs over there? Sure, I picked up. But most of the jobs I was targeting in the northeast side of Cincinnati because that's where all the high-end areas. I didn't focus where I lived at in northern Kentucky. I focused that area. But for pressure washing, it's a little bit different customer, right? I had to find customers for Christmas lights. You got to find customers that are making over $100,000. For pressure washing, I can find people that are making less than that, and I can find people that are living in smaller houses, and that's what I'm kind of looking for. But for pressure washing, that's where I'm at with it. So it's kind of knowing what target area, what market it is. But even for pressure washing, one of the houses I do training on for pressure washing, she's a good friend of mine, and so we do her house, and we did her house, and everybody's like, man, this would be a great neighborhood to go do door knocking and put in. And I'm like, this is not the neighborhood, right? You got to go find the clean neighborhoods. Don't go to the nasty, dirty neighborhoods. They're nasty, dirty for a reason. Don't go to the trailer parks. You got to go find the nice houses that are already clean and go put your marketing around those schools, around those churches. Those are the people that you want. You want those people. You don't want the broke people. You want people that have money, that can spend money to do it. So when I would say, yes, I did even focus even on pressure washing because I wouldn't go put yard signs out in one of the neighborhoods that I knew that they wasn't going to get me. Right? When you pull in the neighborhood and nobody gets their grass professionally mowed, a bunch of the houses are dirty, the landscaping looks rough, then that's probably not my neighborhood, right? That's probably not where I want to be at because nobody's getting it. Now, is there one person might call you? Sure, there might be. But in general, it's one of those things that, it's one of those things that you just kind of got to look at. In Pittsburgh, PA, 79 into the city, my sign keeps getting pulled. Yeah, that usually happens. EDDM, door hangers, D to D, yard signs, etc. I would even go as far as Facebook ads, Google ads, because Facebook ads, you can target those same areas too. And whether you're doing EDDM or door hangers or D2D, you really want to hit all of that at the same time, and you really want to hit it 2, 3, 4 times, each one of those. Um, for EDDM, hit the same door at least 6 times, or otherwise not worth it. Better do 1,000 doors 10 times than 10,000 doors once. I agree 190%. You are exactly right. Not more than 1 month apart every send. Yeah, I would say even maybe 3 to 4 weeks is you want to send it, and it takes a lot of work to do EDDM. Like, it's not easy. If you get them printed, make sure you print them where they're banded every 50 or 100, because the last thing you want to do is go counting or get the scale, and then you got to put rubber bands on it and everything, and that's a pain in the neck. So go ahead and get them counted. So they'll come either every 50 or every 100. And then you get to go to the post office. And every time you go to the post office, you see this old woman going, "What's this?" Blah, 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 blah. And no matter how many times you go, she's still pissed off at you every time you come. I know, because I've done it. It sucks. And so it's just one of those things that you got to do it. Now, is there people that make great money off of it? Yes. I can show you. I know a guy that spends over $100,000 a year on it and does $2 million a year in pressure washing off of it. That ain't that's one of his main things. That ain't the only thing, but that's how many he sends out, right? I mean, he sends out a crap ton of just EDDM. Red Door, Jonathan Manuel, Red Door, right? And so he's one that I know. I know another guy that used to be a window cleaner, and he knew the exact science of when to send it and when not to send it. That's the thing is once you start learning what it is, then it's a lot easier for you to send those stuff out and do it. But all right, well, that's all I have for tonight. Hopefully you all have a great week. I know that the sun's coming out, hopefully shortly. It actually isn't coming out this week. It's supposed to rain some more, I think. That means the grass is growing, but it isn't getting cut. So I always tell people that the first time that grass keeps getting cut, like basically the second time they cut the grass, that's when the phone starts ringing for the pressure washing side of things. Make sure you're marketing now. Make sure you're putting yard signs out. Make sure you're doing the Facebook, doing everything that you can. Go do networking, whatever you can to do to get that phone to ring is what you got to do. Can you use SendJim for EDDM? Yes, you can, but it's going to cost you about 50 to 70 cents per mailer versus 26 cents per mailer, 26 to 30. Thoughts on rubbing elbows with local businesses on social media, even the local competitors? I don't know so much about the local competitors, but definitely with other service businesses that are in the same service area for you. I would agree 100% on that. I use local businesses, design and sign them. Not much expensive than myself. Gotcha. Hit the like button. Yes, thank you. But with that, hopefully you all have a great night, great week, and we'll see you all later.